Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing really well wherever you are and keeping safe and enjoying your mining. So in this video, I'm going to give you a rundown of the overclock settings that I'm using for the Red Devil 6600 XT cards on this little 6600 mining rig that I completed about a week or so ago. So I found the settings that are working best for me, that are the most efficient, and I've had a few questions about what those are. So I'll show you those, and then I'll give you a breakdown on the cost and ROI so far. So Yakov asked for that, so good on you, Yakov. Your wish is my command. I'll show you those, and we'll give you some estimates of how long it will take to pay back the rig and then start making some profits. So first off, the videos, if you haven't seen them, that I'm referring to is this one here, building an awesome mining rig on a budget. So this was quite a long video, but it was step by step. Took you right through start to finish on how to put this rig together, if that's something you're interested in doing. And then this one was just an update video because I added a fifth card. So we used the riserless motherboard for the main 4 cards and then added a fifth card with a riser and just connected that in. And that's going really well. It's been really great little rig actually, really stable, very efficient. And it's using 416 watts at the wall. So it's pretty efficient little rig for around about 160 megahash a second, a little bit more than that. So let's check out those overclock settings first. I'll just jump on the console. So this is just an RDP connection to the rig. So remote desktop protocol. Check out some of my earlier videos if you want to know how to set that up. It's pretty straightforward. So here's our hash rates here. You'll notice when I first jump on and the screen flicks over to remote, it dumps about 1 mega hash. It's just because we're using a headless connection, and but yeah, they are averaging around the 32 to 33. You can see the averages here, and about an average of about 160 mega hash per second reported hash rate. So using Team Red Miner for doing the mining. And these are the overclock settings that are working for me. So we've got 1500 megahertz on the core clock, 2350 on the memory. The power limit is at plus 20, which is basically just fully open. I did try limiting the power more, but it really wasn't making much difference. Drawing about between 55 and 58 watts. And then the fan speed is set to 40, and that's giving us a temp of around the 38 degrees or so. You may notice with these cards that the auto control for the fans in Afterburner doesn't work with the AMD cards. So you can just set the fan speed accordingly to get the temperatures that you want. The fans are pretty efficient on these, so it does keep them pretty cool. Something I like to do is I like to just keep a little text file with my overclock settings on the desktop. That way, if ever MSI Afterburner dumps the settings for whatever reason, it does happen sometimes. If you have a cold restart or something like that, then you can get back up and running quite quickly. So that was just a little tip that I learned. Otherwise, unless you've got a really good memory, you're like, oh heck, what did I have those set to? So that might be helpful for you. And so if we go back to the desktop then, I'll show you the ROI calcs that I've put together. So these were the costs here. These were down in the description, I think, of the build video. So these are the costs for me here in New Zealand. I did have to order some stuff from overseas. I haven't included shipping in any of these cost breakdowns because obviously that will vary depending on where you are. I had a target of 3,000 USD for this build. I ended up punching through it at 31.22. But these are all retail prices. The only thing I got on sale was the power supply. That's why I bought that particular one. It was on sale. I wouldn't buy that one again because it just didn't come with enough power cables, and that was a bit of a frustration. So I had to order extra, and I had to use splitters and all the rest of it. I mean, yeah, you normally probably have to use splitters anyway, but you expect to get, I think, at least 3 PCIe power cables with your PSU, and this one only had 2, so it was a bit rubbish. So next time I'd go for the RM850, or even check out some of the EVGA PSUs. They seem to come with more cables. Anyway, so what do we got? 5 fans, 5 of the 6600s, and yeah, we came down to a 31.22 USD, and there's your NZ and AU prices for those of you that are down under here with me. So using that cost, I've come up with an ROI based on my average hash rate, so not the peak, and just the average 160. Now this is before power costs, which is probably what you guys will mostly be interested in because obviously your power might be different. I'm paying about 18 cents, I think, a kilowatt hour here. It's not very cheap. Some of you guys will be doing much better than that, I expect, especially if you're in the US or parts of Asia where you get your power much cheaper than us. So anyway, 1170. This is US a day. 351 a month, 4270 a year. That's what I came up with anyway. I just use watt to mine to come up with the hash rates and the calcs. So ROI without power, 266 days, 8.9 months. So that's not too bad, I think. If any of you guys into yield figures, that's 132.3, which is an awesome yield. Imagine if you could get that on property or stocks. So there you go. If you did this rig for the same cost as me with all the same parts, your break even should be about 8.9 without power. So with power, that's going to bump that up to about 10 months for me. Might be a little bit less or a little bit more for you, depending on where you are. And of course, you can probably shop around and hopefully get these cards. That's your biggest cost, obviously, for cheaper than what I did. 768 is what I paid initially, and then they've gone up since. So yeah, that's the battle, getting the GPUs for a good price. So speaking of GPUs, I was going to just point out that depending on which model you buy, those overclock settings, if you buy the Hellhound or the Fighter, I think the memory in the Red Devil is just a little bit higher grade. I think this is like the top of the range one in this series of Powercolor cards, and so a few folks that have contacted me and saying that the overclocks weren't working for them, they had to back off the memory overclock a little bit. So just bear that in mind. If you've got the Hellhound or the Fighter, you might have to do that. But the hash rates weren't massively affected. I think they were getting around 30 or 31 on those cards. So you should be good to go, whichever one you decide to get. So there you go, guys. Those are the overclocks. That's the ROI, at least estimates to date. And yeah, I think this is a pretty good build to do if you are wanting to put together something fairly low cost just to get into it. And remember, you don't have to buy all the cards at once. You could get the rig set up quite cheaply and just buy 1 or 2 cards to get you going and see if you like it. And then you can expand it out as well. That can be a way of getting into a rig build at a lower cost, and just seeing if the the technicals of running a rig and sorting out the pool and everything is something you want to do. Speaking of pool, I'll just show you my pool settings here. So this is Ethermine that I'm using. If you haven't seen this before, you might find this interesting. So this is just obviously gives you a graphical representation over time of your current hash rate, average and reported. It is cumulative though for the rig. So I've got 2 rigs running. This is the one here that we're looking at, the little devil miner rig, I've called it, 161. I get quite a few stale shares. That's not because of the overclocks, that's because of my internet connection here. I'm out in the countryside, so the internet is not great. I'm working on getting that upgraded. So I do get a few stales, but you'll see the invalid shares are 0, so the overclocks are fine. So if you were to use the same settings and you can get your stales down, obviously you'll get a better actual valid hash rate, and your rig will be more profitable than mine. So bear that in mind. And this is the other rig, my 1660 Super rig. Check it out. I'll put if you want to, if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to that at the end of this one. And that's a way of getting a rig with a bit more hash rate that's using 12 cards. So if you wanted to go next level, that was something you could potentially look at. Yeah, so there you go, guys. You can see roughly what both rigs are pulling there. 530, and these are the payout rates. It's quite good being able to do that. It's only estimated. It goes up and down, of course, depending on hash rates and difficulty for Ethereum difficulty. But yeah, at the moment it's still relatively profitable, and of course it's a fun hobby. So if you were wanting to give that a try, go for it would be my recommendation. It's a lot of fun. Okay, I hope that's been useful. If it has and you want to give me a like, that would be fantastic. And thanks to everyone who's subscribed too. Punched through 100 subscribers, which is not bad for a month of being on YouTube, I think. And you guys let me know what other content you'd like to see, and anything you request, I'll do my best to make a video for you. So yeah, all the best, guys, and hope your mining goes really well. Look after yourselves and your families, of course, and have fun. All right, take care. I'll see you on the next one.